Here we go, vlog slash real talk. This video is sponsored by you. It's actually not sponsored, but I do have Tazawa Tanks merchandise. So if you want to get a tank top, a t-shirt, a hat, a mug, check out the link down below. All right, enough of the self-promotion. Today I want to talk a little bit about my fish room. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of vlog, so we'll walk around, we'll feed fish, and I want to talk a little bit about kind of what's going on with me in the fish room, and maybe some upcoming changes. Maybe, but anyway, enough talking at the camera lens. Let's go ahead and grab some fish food, and yeah, let's walk around and feed some fish. All right, so it has been quite a while since I've done any type of vlog video, and in fact, I even skipped a week of making videos, but we'll get into that here shortly. We're going to feed some of my fish, most of my fish. I've got some frozen bloodworms that are thawing out right here in this cool little cup. I hate the smell of bloodworms, but we're going to feed some bloodworms to some of the fish. We're going to do some extreme aquatic food feeding as well. I do have some foods that are right here that I have the labels turned around because they are not yet available to the public. I'm actually testing them. Sometimes I will get food, and if it's good food, I'll give my feedback and maybe they'll release it or make some changes. Or I'll say it didn't work in this application or whatever. So anyway, I'm testing some food for extreme, but we're gonna go ahead and feed the non-testing food so that you guys can see what is being fed. All right, so I've got all my foods back there. You might see right here that I've got brine shrimp, but they're not ready because I just set this up. And we're gonna get into that as well. So first of all, let's actually do the bloodworms first. And we're gonna go around and feed some of the fish bloodworms. Now, I'm gonna feed, in this planted tank back here, I've got some Peruvian Amazon puffers. They like bloodworms. I've got some discus in there. They really like the bloodworms. And I might give some to my African mudskippers, my figure 8 puffer, and that's about it for now. So anyway, moving on over here, you guys are getting the kind of the raw, kind of unpolished video here, but it's been a while and it's kind of fun. All right, so they're going kind of wild. So let me just grab the camera here and show you guys what's going on with these fish. So we can see the puffers. They're gonna get fat here pretty quickly. Discus are a lot more shy, obviously, but they still know when it's feeding time and they love to get bloodworms. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave them alone so that they're not all skittish, so that the discus have plenty to eat. And we'll go ahead and go on to the next tank. I'll give one more squirt for the discus. All right, cool, so they chomp those up. Whoa, next thing we're gonna go down to my figure 8 puffer. He's actually, you know, I ran a bunch of meds through him. Still not doing great. He's still alive, which is good. And I've had him for a few years now, but he's still a little bit skinny. But yeah, I've tried different types of medications. I don't know if he just has some type of parasite that's, you know, not allowing it to gain weight, or if there's some type of internal issue with it. But I'm kind of worried that one day I'm going to come in here and find him not alive anymore, but for the time being, it's still super active, eats every day, eats snails, eats bloodworms, eats mealworms, pretty much anything that I put in the tank that's alive or frozen, it will eat. So I like to give him kind of a big portion so that he or she, I like to give the figure 8 puffer a large portion so that it can get fat-ish. So the rest of these I'm going to dump into the African mudskipper tank. If you've not watched the videos on these guys, and I'll put a link up here or down below in the description because it's fun to watch them eat. But I'll go ahead and just pour this in there and we'll probably see them jumping around. I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to, before I pour that in, I'm going to put some water on the glass to clear off, because it's a paludarium and not an aquarium. I want to do that real quick so that you guys have a better view. All right, that's better. So if I do that, zoom in. So if I do that, then we can see through the glass a little bit better. And yeah, so there you can see them right there. They're all sitting, waiting. So here's 4 of them here. There's more in the back. They're kind of all over the place. Down there, there's some. I'm just going to pour this in. And now we can kind of watch them go a little bit nuts. So I'll do the same thing. We'll take the camera off the tripod, get a little bit closer, and we can see them feasting on bloodworms. All right, so now I'm going to feed some extreme krill flake. This is a krill flake that, or a flake food that is really versatile. I can feed it to like my African cichlids when it's in larger form. I can crumble it up and even like crumble it down to a powder for feeding like baby fish or very small fish. But I very much like using this food. And I do want to talk a little bit about feeding because some people ask me why I don't use auto feeders. And I do have 2 auto feeders currently set up. One upstairs that I kind of use and don't use depending on, you know, my mood, I guess. And then I do have one on the discus planted tank back there. But for the most part, I don't use auto feeders because, to be honest, and we'll talk a little bit about this, I don't spend enough time in this fish room. I feel like I spend not enough time with my fish as I should be. Maybe it's because the summer and I've been doing other things. I bought a couple of motorcycles. I've been doing lots of riding or stuff like that, but I don't know. So anyway, if I am forced to feed my fish manually, that means I can't ignore this room. I've got to come down here, spend time, look in every aquarium, make sure things are going well. And that's why I don't really do auto feeders. I actually have a whole bunch of them. I've got some off-brand ones, I've got the Aquarium Co-op ones, but again, I just don't use them in most cases just because this doesn't really mix with my necessity of wanting to play with my tanks more. So anyway, I'm just gonna go around and feed some krill flake. We'll put some in this little brackish paludarium / aquarium thing with a couple African mud skippers and some mollies. These mud skippers I'm actually going to be donating to a school here pretty soon, these 2. But I can just dump that right in, nice and easy. And there's just a big cloud of krill flake there. I'm going to put some in the Indian mud skipper tank here. Or I'll do the same thing. Let me just get closer. We'll do one of these guys so you can see I put the food right on the rock and then they'll just come and grab it. And then obviously a lot of it gets sprinkled into the aquarium part, the water part, where the bumblebee gobies and the shrimp and stuff like that can also eat the food. But yeah, it's kind of a nice, easy, that's the feeding rock, and it's an easy way to put the food down and make sure that it all gets eaten. Zoom back out. Oops, nope. Sometimes I actually will see like snails climb up onto that rock and they will be eating the food that gets left over, any kind of, you know, residue from the fish food. They will climb up on the rock and eat it. So anyway, I'm gonna just keep going around and feeding the fish, and probably won't show you every tank. But here we're gonna do some guppies. We're gonna do the one of my rare shell dwellers here. We'll do the multis. So some of these fish are super shy, some of them not shy at all. I'm gonna put a little bit in my blenny tank. Then we'll go over and we'll do Tanganicans. In this tank we've got Julidochromis and Calvus. I'll put a little bit in there. I'm gonna do the white cloud minnows a little bit. And yeah, because I feel generous and because I didn't do a ton of bloodworms for the African mud skippers, I'll put some flake food in there too. They eat flake food, they eat pellet food, they eat freeze-dried food. And I also have a rock in here that I put the food on, and if I put it on there, they jump on the rock and grab it. Yep, you just saw it just jump up on the rock, and now he's grabbing some. So they'll do that until it's all gone. We'll do the blue topaz. We'll do the 5-star generals. Then we'll flip things around. We're gonna do gold ocellatus. It'll go next. And then we're gonna do the Congo tetras and my Turkana jewels. They're down there. You can see all that red going on. Some of that's the fish, some of that is the krill flake. And now I'm gonna grab a different food and we're gonna feed the Mbuta. So we're gonna get the spirulina flake. So I'll grab that and then we'll do that. All right, so this is the extreme spirulina flake. Just gonna grab a big tablespoon here, heaping tablespoon. Throw that into the psilocy. Then we'll do the same thing. All right. Now we're gonna do some pellets. So we'll feed some of the other fish pellet food. All right, I think that's everybody. Everyone got fed. There's a couple of other fish in here that got fed earlier or they'll eat something different. So I do want to share that they don't always eat the same thing. We've got lots of different choices. So, you know, sometimes it might be flake food. Sometimes it might be like little nano granules as an example. It might be like bottom wafers, large pellets. I've got these monster pellets here that are very large. We've got, you know, in between kind of the medium-sized pellets. And then you can see here, we've got all fish food right here. Even got the aquarium co-op fry food. So lots of fish food. I've got frozen food in here. And obviously we've got the live baby brine shrimp that we're not doing today. So maybe that's a good time now to talk a little bit about changes and what's going on in here. As I've shared, you know, for a while now, I've spent less time in here than I feel I should be. Maybe it's the summertime, maybe because we're outside and doing things and the weather's good. I'm doing outdoor activities versus coming down here because it's, you know, not cold and wet outside. Maybe I'm a little bit bored, and I think that happens with fish keepers as well. And one thing that I've realized is I don't always like keeping all the fish that I've kept over the years for a long term. Maybe I get bored of a particular species and I want to try something different. And I think that's where I am now. I've got a few tanks here where the fish, they're great. You know, I love them, but I'm not excited about them anymore. I've kind of been there, done that, bred them, whatever it might be, and I'm ready to try something different. So I think what's going to be happening over the coming months is little by little, I'm going to be making some changes down here in this fish room, whether it's a type of fish that I'm keeping or even the tank. So I think I'm going to make a video pretty soon about my favorite tank size, and I kind of want to address it there because some of these tanks are just not working for me. And I think it's time to make a change with a few of them. So anyway, that's the video. It's just kind of a more kind of vlog, talking, hanging out kind of a thing. But I think it's good for me to also be upfront and honest with you guys sometimes when, instead of just making kind of robotic videos about how to things, I kind of want to just, you know, be real and grab the camera and talk about stuff. So that's what's going on. I love my fish room. I know that many people love it. I don't want to sound like, you know, it's not great. It's just that, you know, I'm a little bit bored. I'm not excited about certain fish and I want to try some different things. I've given some fish away. Some fish that have been popular on this channel. I'm giving away a couple of my African cichlids, or not African cichlids, but African mud skippers to a local school that's setting up a tank in their science room. And yeah, just different tanks that I want to try different things, and I think that's going to kind of reinvigorate me and get me excited. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this short little vlog. Don't forget Tazawa Tanks merchandise down below. That's all it for now. Thanks for watching. Watch this video right here. Catch you on the next one.